any insights on the location of events which will trigger the malhama. The hadith speaks about the north of Syria, the trigger the malhama. But the methodology with which we pursue knowledge is that absolute truth is located in the Quran. So if we want an answer to this question, we go to the Quran first. And when we go to the hadith, we must find a hadith which is in harmony with the Quran. You don't simply close your eyes and pick up a hadith without any effort to assess it. I was having a dinner discussion session in Lahore. Of course, it's biryani as usual. And the dinner discussion session was organized for me to interact with a very famous Pakistani commentator on Pakistan affairs and international Islamic affairs. I won't mention his name. Don't ask me his name. And I found him simply picking up a hadith, like a journalist, and wanting me to fit the hadith into the big picture and analyze it. I refused. I said, that's not the way. You don't simply pick up a hadith. You have to use the Quran to assess the hadith first. And that's not a job for schoolboys. You have to study what the Quran has said using proper methodology. And then take that knowledge and assess the hadith. And then you will realize our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, never married a child. Because it is in conflict with the Quran. Okay? So now, it could be Ukraine, that Poland is provoked or seduced into attacking Ukraine to recover Polish territory, which was taken away from Poland and given to Ukraine many years ago. And Russia responds to a Polish intervention in the war by saying Poland is a proxy for NATO. And the Russian response is swift and ferocious. It's not that if you hit me with one fist, I'll hit you with one fist. No, no. If you come and intervene in the war, we will hit you with everything we have. That could provoke the Great War. Okay? Or the Great War would be determined by the West when they realize that the collapse of the monetary system can no longer be avoided. So they will choose the time for the Great War. Or the Great War could be chosen by Russia when Russia says, what you all have done to us is an act of war. And you put a rope around our neck and you want to strangle us. So when we find that we are being strangled, we have the right to take whatever means necessary to remove that rope. So these are three possible scenarios which could result in the Great War. Now then, what will be Syria's role in the provocation of the Great War? Our Prophet simply said that Rome will land in the north of Syria. Remember that the Quran says, min qabl wa min ba'd. And that was a split in Rome. So one part of Rome remained with Constantinople, and today it's Moscow. The other part of Rome went to the west and were cursed by Allah to be monkeys. Bandarabad. This part of Rome lands in the north of Syria. So that's NATO. That's NATO. At this time, Russia and Syria control the skies of Syria. And NATO has lost the war in Syria. So it could be that NATO wants to provoke a war, and they land their troops in the north of Syria, and that provokes the